Greetings, hello music lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is Caeser Pink.
Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Baby, please.
Today we're going to carry on with my series 15 underappreciated guitar players. Today we're going to be looking at the guitarist Keith Levene, best known for his work with Public Image Limited. But before we get started, please click and subscribe. It really helps us grow our channel. And this channel is a fundraising series for the Arete Living Arts Foundation. And if you would like to support our work, you can join our Patreon page or make a tax-deductible donation via PayPal. The links are all down below in the description. But now, Keith Levene, again, he's a guitarist that it might be hard for some people to understand why I put him on this list. He's not a guy out there shredding guitar solos. He's never on the list of the best 10 or 50 or 100 greatest guitarists, but there are a lot of people who recognize the genius of what he does. And it's really hard to even explain what he does. It's quite often abrasive, although I have heard him do some very pretty things. And, you know, usually his music isn't really patterned. It's not repetitious. It sort of just flows within a series of sounds or chords. I might refer to it as chaos theory. What I mean by chaos theory is it's a situation that seems chaotic, but if you break it down, it's based on, say, maybe 4 or 8 or 12 options, and those options are intermixed randomly. So it seems to not have a pattern when you look at the smaller scale, but on the bigger scale you can see that it's built on these smaller number of elements that are being repeated randomly, you might say. But what he does is very unique. Now, before we go into too much more about him, let's listen to a piece. This is by Public Image Limited. It's called Theme. Now, I listened to this song many times, really over maybe 20 years, and I never thought too much about the guitar playing on it. But then one time I was working my boring day job. I was able to listen to music through headphones as I worked. And I put this on, and it blew my mind. It took my breath away. The guitar playing was so... it was so on the edge of chaos. It sounded like it could break down at any time. Even though this is not jazz music, it seems like jazz guitar playing in a sense. It's just... he must have been so in his zone that when he did this, it's really some kind of magic or something, but it is very abrasive. So let's just listen to it and try to focus on the guitar playing and see if you can understand what he's actually doing. it's I think it's really incredible stuff. It might be a bit baffling to some people, but so a little bit about Keith Levene. He was born 1957, died in 2022, I believe from some type of cancer. Now, when he started as a guitar player, he was a prog guy, progressive rock. I think he toured as a guitar tech for Yes, and he called I don't have it here, but he called Yes's guitar player the greatest fucking guitar player that ever lived. But then he went on to be a founding member of the Clash. I don't think he ever recorded with them. But let's listen to, I think there's an interview here where he's talking about that.
And it's very Let It Rock.
Well, not Stackhill Winker Pickers, but Stackhill Leather Boots.
That's what Cuban jobbies,
No,
aren't they?
Mick gave me.
Oh, Mick gave you those shoes. Look this pic up. Somebody tweet this pic.
The night I met Mick, he was wearing these blue suede shoes and they were Winkle Pickers Dynamite.
Right.
And we liked each other so much. I don't know if it was that weekend he gave me them or the next Saturday, but whatever. You know, and it was just a real kind of dopey, friendly thing to do.
Rock and roll
we liked
shoes.
each other so much, you know.
And you formed the Clash. So why are you a non-punk
We
rocker?
formed a band. It ended up being called the Clash.
Okay. So give us a lowdown on that then. How you came to be the Clash?
Me and Mick met. Really were crazy about each other. I was kind of doing my migration to West London, a few squats around, which was quite normal then. Squatting in Shepherd's Bush, seeing more of Mick. Mick wanted, the thing we both wanted to do, all we knew was we really wanted to get a band together, a great band. And so that's what we were aiming to do. And you know, more and more people came into the phone. They weren't necessarily accomplished musicians and what have you, but you know, it was at that stage in time where it was important to look good and have other attributes in a band. We had Bernard Rhodes as not necessarily a manager, but the guy working with us. So I met Mick, I met Bernard, I met Paul Simonon, and then we started developing the thing. It went through various stages. Ended up poaching Joe Strummer from the 101ers, and then we had Terry Chimes on drums, sort of all along. They called it the Clash, and the band started becoming something else, and the best thing for the Clash was for me to not be with them, so I left.
Right. So my favourite song on the first Clash LP, my favourite Clash song, is What's My Name, and you co-wrote that, it turns out. And it does
banged it out in a sound check.
It does have a more modal vibe, which is more like the first Pill album than sort of the trad rock style of Strummer and Jones, I'd say. So was the Clash, was it not a good fit? Or
No, it was a great fit at first. We wanted to get a really good band together, and you know what? Listen, I've never been crazy about the Clash, but a lot of people really like them, and I'm just guessing they're a really good band. Okay, so we pulled off getting a good band together, and Mick and Topper and Joe and whoever else ended up great in that band as they ended up, sort of thing.
Because this is often misconceived, but before the Clash and that whole, I mean, obviously they were kind of pre-punk then, and the Joe was still in the 101ers, whatever, but this is often misconceived, but you did you not work on the road crew for Yes, aged 15?
That's got a lot to do with Joe Strummer, but...
yeah, okay.
Yes, I did, yes.
But Steve Howe did not teach you to play the guitar?
No, just to slot that one into place and iron that one out. That misnomer from the, what's his name, Danny Baker show.
Danny Baker. Viv Albertine actually said it.
Yeah, no, good for Viv. You know, and I think she must have had that misconception. But no, I was really into Steve Howe. Yeah. And I just went to a load of Yes gigs. Ended up working for Yes for real.
On the drums though, wasn't it?
Well, I was helping put the drum rostrum together. That is not a drum kit. This is like a major deal. It's a major thing to put together. It taught me so much, but obviously I kind of migrated to Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman's synths and everywhere, and really I was a tourist, and I used to get these big people. We'd turn up at the gigs and I'd just choose 3 big guys and have them do my work while I was playing with Rick's synthesizers and annoying everybody else that worked on the road crew, you know.
Now, after he left the Clash, once the Sex Pistols broke up, he formed Public Image Limited with Johnny Rotten, and they did a lot of incredible work. Here's a little clip of them playing The song Public Image by Public Image. Now in that song, there's a little bit more of a structure, yet it's still pretty fluid. There are a couple patterns there that are sometimes repeated and sometimes he kind of flows off into them in other territories and then comes back. Now here is one from their second album, titled Second Edition or Metal Box. It was originally released in like a metal film canister with 3 EPs in it, which apparently was very expensive to produce and sell, and the packaging ate up all of their money. And then it was re-released as a 2-album vinyl set in a fairly normal package. But this is it's a very interesting song. The bass line, which is a little askew, let's say, is pretty repetitious. And the rhythm of the guitar pattern is pretty solid, yet it feels like it's like careening in and out. It's a very interesting musical composition. I mean, I guess he's doing a sort of pattern there, but it's very... The guitar and the bass seem to be a little unhinged from each other, and it feels like it's flowing in and out. I'm not exactly sure what's going on to give it that feeling, but you know, when you listen to it for a minute, it sounds pretty dissonant and a little abrasive. But when you listen to this song for a time, you actually start hearing it as pretty, and it's pretty catchy. It's almost an 8-minute song, and there's no real structural changes as such. I guess there's maybe a couple different chord patterns that they go in and out of, but when I first listened to this, I just thought that interaction between the bass and guitar was really kind of amazing. Now, he was with The Clash until 1983. You know, I'm not exactly sure what the story is. I think he may have became a heroin junkie, and the previous album called Flowers of Romance, which we'll listen to something from it, Johnny Rotten Well, complains, yes, that he couldn't get any of the musicians to work on it, and the drummer was about to go on tour with somebody else, so he just drug the drummer in and had him play drum patterns, and then they built the music around that. And it's one of the most unique albums of music I've ever heard. There's not that much guitar on it, but when the guitar comes in, it's kind of over top of this. Let's say there's a lot of emptiness for the guitar to play in, although the drumming is quite busy. But their next album was called "This Is What You Want, This Is What You Get," and they started recording it with Levene, and I'm not sure why he was fired or why he left, but after he left, they polished the album and put it out. And it's still a pretty experimental album, but there were tracks on it that made it sound a little bit more pop. And they had a song, "This Is Not a Love Song," that I think was a little bit of a hit. But Levene was unhappy, so he released his own version of the song, took the tracks that he had recorded with the band and remixed them and released them. And it was released as an album, but then Johnny sued him and that album disappeared. Many years later, I don't know when it was, maybe 2005, somewhere in there, I started communicating with Keith on the internet, and his version of the album was no longer available commercially, but he showed me where I could get download a copy of it. And then not long before his death, I think he crowdfunded some money he needed to, he took the tracks, the original tracks, took them into a recording studio and finished them off as he saw them. I think it was released in some form, maybe just through his own website. I have never had the opportunity to hear him, but he was very committed to that. Now, Keith has said of his own guitar playing, "Once I got good enough to know the rules, I did not want to be like any other guitarist. I didn't go out of my way to be different. I just had an ear for what was wrong. So if I did something that was wrong, i.e. made a mistake, or did something that wasn't in key, I was open-minded enough to listen to it again." And I guess what he means is perhaps incorporate that into music, into the song. Brian Eno has said about mistakes, there are no mistakes, just new opportunity. Now, Levene was pretty influential in a lot of ways. John Frusciante of the Red Hot Chili Peppers said of Levene's style, "He was spectacular. He explored the possibilities of what you can do with a guitar." Upon his death, Massive Attack, I guess that's the name of an artist from England, I think he was a trip-hop artist, described Levene as an artist, architect, and reinventor of punk rock. He is cited as a major influence on people like U2's The Edge, and his work with Pill, especially on the Metal Box album, is considered a landmark in deconstructed rock. His guitar playing was characterized by treble-heavy, minimalist sound, often using isolated notes and fragmented arpeggios. He also avoided traditional blues licks and full chords, creating a unique sonic texture. So, let's listen to something from the Flowers of Romance album. go through the album, a lot of the tracks he's not on. This is one he plays on the whole way through, and at the end, it becomes very interesting. This track is called Track 8. Now, despite the quote I just heard about him not playing in blues tradition, that ending part did have just a little bit of a feel of the blues in it to me. And let's listen to one more. This is from the Flower of Romance album, and it's called Go Back. Now, Keith did do some other things. He played on this album by singer and players and Bim Sherman, titled Devious Woman. Now, he and all Public Image were always into reggae and reggae dub, and this definitely falls into that category.
Why did you have to break his heart and tore it all apart? Why did you have to break his heart? Why did you have to tore it all apart? You devious woman, will someone give him some good advice? The way to run his life without a love like yours. Without
And here's a little bit from, I guess this is a solo album called Violent Opposition.
woke up in an alley. I had lunch belly. I'm searching for something, babe. I don't know what it is. I'm searching for something. I don't know what it is. I'm searching for something, baby. I don't know what it is.
Now, he did release another solo album, an instrumental thing, just a couple years before he died. And again, I bought it from him personally over the internet. I think I paid kind of an exorbitant price for it, but he seemed like a guy who was struggling, and so I was happy to do it. He also wrote a book not long before he died called something like I Was a Teenage Guitarist for the Clash. I haven't read that, but I'd really like to. When it came out, he was asking for a very high price for it. I'll have to check and see if it's available anywhere these days. Anyways, that's Keith Levene. If you're looking for interesting, innovative guitar playing, check out his work. The best place to find it is one of the early Public Image Limited albums. Unfortunately, there was a long period of his life where he didn't really produce anything, and you know, when an artist or a player is this unique, it's really a shame to lose all those years without him. I don't know why he wasn't producing music. Maybe it was his health, his mental state. Maybe it was just the business that he had no opportunities. But either way, it's unfortunate. I wish those years would have been full of output that we could explore and enjoy. But thank you again. My name is Caesar Pink. Hope to see you soon.